Welcome everybody, it's Keandre Parker. This is Parker Universal. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Let's jump right in. So as you can tell from this title, we're going to be discussing about our family monthly budget, and hopefully this helps you out too. As you can see already on the screen, we have multiple kind of budget spreadsheets that we mess around with. A lot of these budget spreadsheets each have their own individual purpose. So we are going to focus on the continuous budget one because this is the one that we use more on a daily than our other ones. So let's hop right in. So I really wanted to share our budget spreadsheet, our monthly budget spreadsheet with you because budgeting is a very important tool, especially for those of us who have a family or just for people in general. It's good to know how your money is going to come in and how it's going to be allocated throughout the month. And if you have a nice set plan beforehand, it's even that much more so that way you're not spending money on unnecessary things and you're able to track exactly where your money is going penny by penny. So as we got here, we have our continuous budget spreadsheet. First thing I want to take note is this spreadsheet we've been using for over a year. If we kind of scroll back, I think I created this spreadsheet back in February of 2020. So we've been utilizing this spreadsheet almost every day for the last 15 months. So it's exciting. I really love how I built it. I've gotten better and better with how I wanted it to be structured to really allocate and utilize and get the information I want per month when it comes to our budget, right? So I'm gonna kind of go over the structure of what our budget entails. And also, please let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing what those other budget spreadsheets look like and how we utilize them in the equation and everything. We have created one YouTube video already called Our Debt-Free Journey. So please check it out and discuss one of those spreadsheets on there and kind of helps you kind of dive in deeper to how our budgets and stuff are kind of taken care of day by day for a family of 4. So we're going to start here with the column A, the expenses. So our expenses kind of section goes from column A all the way through column D. So the column A, it talks about the type of expenses we have. So I'm going to click on this arrow here. And you see, these are the different types of expenses that we really decided to focus on, or really are the main ones we have in our daily lives. We have our groceries, we have bills, credit, savings, food, which is different from groceries. Food is like fast food, or like we go to a restaurant, something that we're not essentially always bringing inside the house that we may go sit out and eat or go quickly buy. And then we have miscellaneous, which is say we go do an activity, like we go to the zoo, or we buy items that weren't planned in our budget, like we buy our kids some clothes that we just happen to see around and about, or any type of miscellaneous thing that wasn't allocated at the very beginning of the month, basically. And then lastly, our cars. So column B is the type of item that we have. So for instance, when we do grocery shopping, we'll put like groceries here in column B. We'll put like our loan payment. So like that specific loan payment, like for example, Navient Loan 3 or Nelnet Loan AI, or any other bill. Like we have our subscription. So I have Funimation. I love anime. So I'll put Funimation in there, or any type of named item in there. So we keep track, and I try to be as specific as possible on what that is. So when I look back at the spreadsheet, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I paid for, or this is the very specific thing I bought or a place we went to last month. Column C is the amount of that particular item or thing that we did, right? That's very self-explanatory. So column D, you'll see we kind of have two things here. We have and highlighted the date. So that's a very specific date that one of us got paid. So I'll put that date there. And then lastly is the total spent. So if you see up here, this is the equation. So this equation here, it just takes like the sum of the items in that particular date or for that particular check, and it just adds it up. right? And I'm gonna do an example of this later on in the video. If you want to go ahead and skip ahead, you can, to see how exactly this works out. But please come back so you can see the rest of the structure of the spreadsheet. So we like to break up the spreadsheets into terms of how many checks we have. So we basically get paid every other week. So if we end up with 4 checks in 1 month, or we're gonna get paid 4 times in 1 month, we'll break this up into like 4 different sections. So if I scroll down, you'll see that we have, for example, we get paid on the 6th, May 6th. So we have a block for that and some space for to put like items we'll spend using that check. And then we have a May 13th check, May 20th check, and May 27th check, and then each one of those has their individual boxes. So that's for our expenses. Our expenses has 4 columns, and those kind of the criteria of each one of those columns. So our income column over here, it's our income section, I should say, takes over these kind of 4 columns, F through I, and really only F, G, and I are being used. So the income section is the name of each one of our checks, right? Sometimes we get paid 5 times a month, so we'll have an extra line in there for that 5th payment. This one here is varsity. So this is the tutoring that I do on the side. So that's my varsity tutor. So I have that, and then other is like if we happen to get like a reimbursement for like an overpayment on like a bill of some sort, or we received cash or some sort. Just whenever we receive excess money that wasn't initially planned from like a work payment, then we always put it there. So a good example of that is like when we got the stimulus checks, that would go into like the other column, or when we got a refund, that would go into the other column, right? So we have column G where we put exactly how much we would pay or how much we got paid, and then column I just speaks about what like the remaining amount. So column I is dependent on what happens in column D under the total spent cell. So column I, if you read here, it says it's G2 minus D3 for this particular one. So we'll take however much we got paid on the 6th, the 6th of May, sorry, and then that total will be subtracted by whatever we spend out of that check. So like whatever bills we use to pay off that check, whatever other activities we decide to do, if we decide to go get food, that's all coming out of that check. And then what's left over or the remaining gets put into this cell here. So that way we know as we go through the month, like, hey, we still have say $60 that we didn't spend from this check. We can either combine that with excess money from another check, or use that money to do something with it. So it allows me to keep track of like, okay, we didn't use all our money, or we did use all the money in this check, so we can no longer use that anymore. So, and then one last piece I want to mention is the graph in this table here. So on each one of these, and I'm gonna show an example by clicking one on the other tabs, we have a graph or a table here that's been divided by the type of expenses we have: our groceries, cars, miscellaneous, food, credit, bills, savings. And then in this next column here, it's a summation of that particular type. So in our expenses column, once we give a type to that item, and as it goes through the whole month, the sum total is going to be added in its respective cell. So, and then that value is going to be taken and put into percentage. So the percentage is going to take the total amount of however much we spent that month, and it's going to take however much we spent on this particular item, and then it's going to create a chart, right? A graph here in this bigger gray square, and we can see exactly how our money was allocated per our expenses throughout the month, right? And this really helps me out because like allows me to see, is there a trend of how we're spending our money? Like, are we spending our money too much in one particular area versus another? Are we on track with our goals and our tasks that we have set for ourselves? Having that graph is the easy, quick way for me just to look and say, okay, that works out, or this working out, or hey, we need to fix something here because last month or the prior few months we were spending too much here or not enough here. Exciting thing here, I have TubeBuddy. I paid for TubeBuddy back in March, and it's been a very beautiful tool. I actually have an affiliate link down below if you want to check out YouTube You want to check out TubeBuddy, sorry. So use that link, check it out. It's perfectly awesome. It's free for you to download, so you don't have to pay for anything unless you want to once you get within the site. But that's on you to decide. I'm not forcing you to do anything. So that's kind of the extent of our monthly budget spreadsheet. Like I said, this is something we use basically on a daily. We look at all the time, make sure we have the month kind of planned out for the most part, how things are going to be, and it's an extremely useful tool. And if you want, I can share our spreadsheet. I can share like a template with you. So if this spreadsheet is something that you really like and really enjoy, just put a comment down below, or you can get in contact with me through one of my social medias, or some way, somehow you can find me, and I will definitely share this with you free of charge. I will not charge you this because I want everybody to get into the habit of budgeting, and sometimes it's hard if you don't have the proper spreadsheet that relates to the information that you want. So thank you again for spending this time watching this video. I know it was kind of long, but you get a little insight to what we are. This is kind of how our family is and kind of how we manage our finances for a family of 4. We say it's me, Keandre, my wife Kiana, our daughter Carson, and our son Kai. If you're interested in seeing those other spreadsheets as well, like I mentioned earlier in this video, please let me know in the comments below. If you want to see those spreadsheets, I would definitely make videos talking more in depth about it. Or if you want me going more in depth about the equations and stuff I use in this particular spreadsheet, I definitely can as well. I do not mind. I want to hear from you, so that way I know what type of content you actually want to see and hear about. That is basically the end of everything. We do have another video called our debt-free journey that I mentioned earlier in this video that talks to one of our other spreadsheets at the very beginning of this video that you saw. So please go check out that video as well, and just be on the lookout for more content like this. I really want to help other families, and us being as young as we are, we're very knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff. We've been parents for a while, and for us to only be 24, we feel like we can reach out to a lot of people, and we want to help you. So join us in this growth, become financially literate and to understand the world, and so that way we can grow and get better. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for sticking around and checking it out. I'll talk to you later. Ciao.